a great fighter.
You think he's a great fighter? But what do they think? What do you think about them comparing him to you? I mean, you're a legend, my friend.
Well, he'll be one too if he keeps fighting.
Oh, okay.
Why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds at only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet, to have
talents are so crazy, especially at this age, okay? It is so cool. What is he, 20, 21? And you know, he's starting to get compared to Mike Tyson as far as his trajectory.
Mike Tyson praised Moses Itauma, saying he stands out from today's fighters. Unlike many modern boxers, Itauma has raw hunger, sharp focus, and the kind of determination that makes a true champion. Tyson stressed that real greatness comes from consistency, discipline, and learning from losses. With these qualities, Itauma is already turning heads in the heavyweight division and is on track to rise above his peers and become a future boxing legend.
If you listen, this is the thing. It has nothing to do with you losing. It depends on how you lose. You lose spectacularly, hey, they're gonna always use you. Depends on how you lose. You can lose and win at the same time.
Yeah, your stock can go up.
Yeah.
Some people be like, "Oh, you undefeated. You don't know. You don't understand." It's like, no, I do understand.
Yes, you do understand.
I came out on top, but I took the risk, and I had some close ones. But I also remember my last loss and how that made me feel, which made me not want to, lose again. And I just think that, given the climate of the game now with the social, like, you get crucified in boxing if you lose a fight.
Because the people that watch boxing now don't understand boxing. They look at it from a physical perspective.
I agree with that.
They don't understand it at all.
Yeah. Man, Cuss is grooming you and prepping you. And I saw a quote from him that thing almost brought me to tears. He said, at his age, he said, how do you stay alive? What's your motivation? He said, I'm alive because Mike gives me hope to stay alive. I have a reason with Mike here.
Ariel Helwani, one of the most respected voices in combat sports, also praised Moses Itauma for achieving so much at just 20 years old. Itauma is already recognized as one of the most promising heavyweight prospects in the world. Helwani says he could even break Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champion. This isn't just hype. It comes from Itauma's steady rise, perfect performances, and growing reputation. When veterans and analysts take notice, it proves that his progress is real, and the idea that he could surpass Tyson shows how seriously the boxing world takes him.
Outside the boxing, but he's back. He's got his new fight is March the 1st in Bournemouth. So yeah, he's rolling the dice again. He's just had a little boy, so he took some time out.
Okay, when did you start to really feel like this could be a career, that you had a special gift? How soon into that training journey did you start to realize, like, oh wow, this is what they're saying about me is different?
It's after I sparred Lawrence Okoli. My trainer at the time, he messaged me saying that what you've done today was crazy, unbelievable. If you stick at it, you can be one of the greatest boxers to live, heavyweight, sorry. And then I was like, okay, I'm not bad, but at this point, I'm a 2-time European gold medalist, 2-time national champion. But I still didn't think I was like,
What really sets Moses Itauma apart is not just his age, but how he moves in the ring. Analysts have highlighted the rare mix of speed and agility he has. Heavyweights are usually celebrated for power and size, not quick footwork. But Itauma breaks that mold. At just 20, he moves with a fluidity more common in lighter divisions. His footwork lets him cut angles, avoid punches, and land counters that keep opponents guessing. The combination of his size and athleticism excites experts because Itauma is not just a heavy hitter, he's a complete fighter who can outmaneuver even seasoned heavyweights.
Just to why I think that is I've never seen anyone who was as big as this kid move as well as he does. For you to be that big, like 6'5", 250 pounds at only 20 years old, to move that well on your feet, to have that level of speed and power. When have we ever seen that before in the history of boxing? Ever. In the last 30 years even. You look at Lennox Lewis, he didn't fucking move like that for the weight. No way. As good as he was, he didn't move like that. AJ, hell of an athlete, he didn't move like that. Tyson Fury was a good mover for a big bloke. He doesn't move like that. He hasn't got that explosive speed. We're witnessing something so fucking special here. This is the most exciting combat sports athlete, any sport, MMA, boxing, whatever you want to talk about in the world. And he's 20 years old. It's unbelievable. And I get that a lot of people have doubted him because it's hard to believe that guys who you've respected for the last 15 years can get in a boxing ring against a 20-year-old kid and get the shit beaten out of them. And that emotional connection will make you want to, oh, maybe this will happen. Oh, Dillian White's, he's training hard, he looks in shape. No. It doesn't matter what version of Dillian White shows up. Dillian White could go back through his entire fucking career and pick any version of himself out. You're getting smoked by Moses Itauma because the level difference, it's fucking huge. That's why I only gave him 2 rounds. And I respect Dillian White. I think he is a tough guy. He has had a good career. But just look at the way Dillian White moves, man. And look at the way Moses Itauma moves. This was a really easy one to predict, actually. People are comparing him to Mike Tyson. It's a hell of a compliment.
Showbiz The Adult compared Itauma's fight with Dillian White to Tyson's early days, showing just how big his performance was. Just like Tyson stunned critics when he beat Michael Spinks, many doubted if Itauma was ready for White. The fight answered that question loud and clear. Itauma showed devastating power, calmness, and ruthlessness, reminding people of Tyson's breakthrough. The story was the same, a young fighter under scrutiny, proving critics wrong in emphatic fashion. His knockout wasn't just another win, it was a statement that demanded respect and changed how people see his career.
Experience bout and stuff like that. And, you know, we never see Moses in this situation, something like that. And I responded by saying, this is going to be Mike Tyson Spinks. Remember that?
Moses will get hit so hard the first. He going to be gun shy for the rest of the fight, like Ryan versus Rolly. It's different level. He ain't been tested. That's what he said about. I remember those exact words when Iron Mike Tyson fought Michael Spinks. They said Mike Tyson never been in a ring with somebody of the caliber of Spinks. I'll never forget. So let's see.
And damn it, how identical this shit is just mind-blowing. Check this out.
Dillian White looks a little big-eyed for me. He looks a little nervous for me, man. You just gotta make 5 rounds. You looking down and shit. He looked like Michael Spinks, man.
When people first compared Moses Itauma to Mike Tyson, it was flattering but heavy. Tyson's one of the most iconic heavyweights ever, dominating with ferocity and youth, but Itauma most to build his own legacy. Like modern champions such as Anthony Joshua, he wants to make a name for himself. At just 20, he knows greatness isn't about copying someone else. He wants to be remembered as Moses Itauma, not a shadow of Tyson. That mindset is what separates future champions from those who crumble under comparisons.
It's a really good thing, though, when people are talking about you and people are, talking about you being maybe the next youngest world heavyweight champion after Mike Tyson, trying to break that record. You're 19 years of age now, talking about your last performance. Marius Wack, big guy, strong guy, been in there, seen it, done it, boxed everyone, was expected to give you rounds. You went in there and took him apart in 2, right? So them expectations are obviously going to be talked about. People are obviously going to do that and compare you with the likes of Mike Tyson, and that is a good thing. And I think the champions feed off that sort of stuff, and that's what you do. You don't let the pressure get you, but you deliver in your performances.
Yeah, like with, do you know what? I've kind of put myself with kind of making the comparison with me and Mike Tyson with completely different styles or whatnot, but I never really wanted to compare to no one. I kind of want to set my own path. Like I said multiple times, like obviously Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Tyson, all them, they've set their own path, so I want to set my own.
I think it's the age thing, isn't it? With the Mike Tyson thing, where he become the youngest world heavyweight champion, 20 years of age and X amount of months, whatever that was. You're 19. You put yourself in a position now that Frank Warren was on here talking about you boxing Fabio Wardley, Fraser Clark. He said tomorrow, now. That's the sort of level he sees you at. Of
course. If you look at my last fight, obviously that's where they all get their confidence from.
Ade Oladipo shared a sentiment that many in boxing agree with. Not every fighter needs endless tests to prove themselves. Some show championship qualities right away. Itauma's performance against Dillian White was exactly that. He didn't need a long battle to prove his skill. One night, he displayed speed, timing, and composure that spoke louder than any drawn-out fight could. Oladipo's point shows how Itauma has changed perceptions, turning skeptics into believers and proving that greatness can be obvious.
He is a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. Sorry, a light heavyweight. Certainly doesn't move like a lightweight, but a light heavyweight.
he just darts in and out so quickly. Like, nothing about him physically looks 240 pounds. Bear in mind, that's the same weight as Daniel Dubois. He's the same height. It's only 10 pounds less than AJ. It's the same height as Dillian White. I'm sorry, same weight as Dillian White. But you look at his frame, he doesn't look that heavy. It's almost like he's very, I don't know, maybe a lot of that weight's in his legs, but he seems to move and glide around the ring so freely. So yeah, look, I'm very excited about him. I thought that if I watched it again, because obviously I made the video yesterday immediately after watching the fight, so I was very high. And I thought, okay, let me watch it again and maybe calm down a little bit. If anything, I've got higher. If anything, I've gone higher. I think he's incredible. I was at the airport with Lee Wood. And Lee Wood, obviously trained by Ben Davison. Lee Wood sees him train all the time. And he was like, dude, I'm not surprised. Like, I see this guy train all the time. I see what he does. I see who he spars. And sometimes you got to listen to those people. Again, we're not privy to any of that. All we see is a couple of rounds or 2 minutes on fight night. We don't see anything else, where people like Lee see it week in, week out. So, look, I think he's incredible. Let's not waste no time. I've already wasted, 5 minutes or so. Let's talk about potential opponents. And this doesn't include, again, the top 3 guys. So this doesn't include Alexander Usyk. I'll tell you who it doesn't include. It doesn't include Alexander Usyk.
Despite Itauma's clear victory, some critics tried to downplay it by suggesting Dillian White was injured. Analysts pushed back, noting White looked healthy and focused. To claim the win came from anything other than skill undermines what Itauma showed. This is common in boxing. When a young fighter rises fast, critics look for excuses. But Itauma's strength, timing, and fearlessness left little doubt that he earned every bit of praise. The talk about injuries only highlights how hard it can be to give credit to rising stars, but Itauma made his case undeniable.
Discuss. There's always and often rumors after a fight when a fighter gets blown out there early that there's some kind of injury. But what really intrigued me building up to this fight, and on the live stream, people who were seeing me, I was kind of confused by it, was why this has become a 10-rounder suddenly. I thought this was a 12-round fight. It was for various international belts and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see any reason why this wouldn't be a 12-rounder, especially when it's a pay-per-view main event. And I assumed that the reduction to 10 rounds indicated that there may have been an injury to Itauma with him being the A side, but then seeing the fact that Dillian White walked second to the ring tells me he maybe had a bit more negotiating power in this than I first thought, which then leads me to believe that potentially this rumor of him having an injury is actually true, and he wanted to reduce it to 10 rounds because of some sort of pre-fight issue. Now look, again, we don't really know if there was an issue with White, but he did look a bit sort of tender and he walked to the ring somewhat gingerly. I didn't read anything into that because I wasn't sure if he was just relaxed. But look, some people are saying he was injured. Sonny Edwards has posted that on Instagram. Sonny Edwards is obviously someone more in the know than I will ever be in terms of having his finger on the button, hearing rumors and all that kind of stuff. So I'm inclined to believe there may be some truth to it. But at the same time, once again, I want to reiterate, I always predicted Itauma to win this fight. I just didn't think he'd do it as quickly as he did. This might explain why Dillian White couldn't even last a few rounds. But at the same time, when I watched back those tactical details that I just showed you, that's stuff Dillian White's always done. That's nothing to do with a leg injury. And I fully believe that Itauma's work in there was smart. It was an executed game plan. And would a Dillian White with a leg injury have behaved any differently? Or sorry, with or without a leg injury behaved any differently? I don't think so. I think that the issue with White is, and the reason he couldn't take him rounds, and I texted Jamie, me and Jamie were texting afterwards from Boxing Live. And I said to him, the problem with White is his weaknesses are too well documented. That's why he was not able to go as long as a Balogun, in my opinion. Everybody knows what Dillian White's issues are. I suppose that I just felt he could get in there and survive a bit longer, fight very, very reserved and cautious and take him rounds and then try and get him to make mistakes. But he couldn't even do that. And I think the biggest thing I've learned from this is that Itauma can execute under pressure. And because there was pressure in this fight, don't get me wrong. Now, he said after the fight that the Balogun fight was actually more pressure for him because he was supposed to win that so easily. Whereas with this, he saw it as a genuine contest. He felt more relaxed. To me, that's fine. You can think that way if you want, but to me, there was more pressure in this fight.
Mark Tibbs, White's former trainer, gave a reaction that carried a lot of weight. When someone with his experience admits he was speechless, it shows just how shocking the knockout was. Tibbs captured what many fans felt watching Itauma take White down in the first round. White was supposed to be a serious test, but the fight turned into a showcase of Itauma's power and killer instinct. For a seasoned trainer to publicly acknowledge the impact of the knockout is rare, and it confirms Itauma as one of boxing's brightest young stars.
Speechless, really, mate. It was what we all expected, really. Was we could get 4 or 5 rounds out to see where Moses was at. But he's that good. He's that good. I thought Dillian shaped up well. I thought he was in fantastic nick. But when you're at your twilight years and you're working on your weight, etc., it's taxing. It's taxing on yourself. And I'm pretty sure he had to make some pains. I'm not judging him, but you know, he's trained in a hell of a lot of training camps, and he's very, very diligent in his training. But it just, you know, it's like grandfather time for him, if you get me. So it was a difficult task, and we all knew that anyway. But it shows that Moses is been emotionally tested, and obviously not. He's still got to be built physically. You know, still got to be built physically against someone that's going to give him rounds. So there's the problem. He's that good. He's a phenomenal mover for a heavyweight. Phenomenal. Carries his power with his movement for a heavyweight, and he's the shot selection he threw yesterday was, you know, what you'd expect from someone of a high intelligent fighter like him. So yeah, credit to Moses, done a fantastic job, and I wasn't surprised.
Was it tough for you to watch a bit? I mean, you've worked with Dillian for years. You know, you've had really good wins with him and good fights with him. Was it tough to see that version last night?
Well, you know what? I know Dillian's mindset and what a dog he is, and with respect, you know, when I use that term dog, he's a real G. He's a real dog.
While many celebrated Itauma's win, Sam Jones offered a more cautious view. He said the fight didn't answer questions about Itauma's chin, stamina, or how he handles longer rounds. The match ended too quickly to see how he would face pressure or adversity. From this perspective, the White fight, though spectacular, left some doubts. This kind of view is important because it keeps hype realistic. Greatness isn't proven in one fight, no matter how impressive. Itauma's future challenges will test him further, but there's no denying he's now a top fighter to watch in the heavyweight division.
It's like he didn't take away, it doesn't really ask the questions. We don't know anything new about Moses. We know he's special. We know he's fast. We know he can punch. We know he's just, he looks the real deal, doesn't he? But it didn't answer any questions. It was pretty much one of the easiest fights of his career, if not the easiest fight of his career last night.
Were you disappointed in Dillian's performance at all?
No, because look, he's 37, 38. I mean, I tweeted on the ring walk, he don't look at the races. There was no wolf howl. There was no, like, you know what I mean? Dillian's aggressive. Dillian's an aggressive guy. Like, I've not felt that. I felt like it's been a fed up Dillian. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was not the Dillian White we're used to seeing. But look, it's hard because you don't want to downplay Moses' performance, because look, Moses has to go in there and beat who's put in front of him. The matchmaking was perfect. It's a great scalp. He's 20 years old. Deserves all the credit in the world. But again, we have to judge on what we saw on Dillian's side, and he wasn't at the races.
We're hearing that he went into the ring with a possible injury. Is there any that you heard on your end?
Yeah, I've heard it all week. But look.
That's it for today's video. If you made it this far, you're officially a boxing legend in my eyes, so hit that like button to prove it. Subscribe now or risk missing the next knockout story that everyone will be talking about. Don't be the one who hears about it later, be the one who saw it first.